Like research that people that breathe through the mouth more are less attractive.
Right.
Statistically. And I breathe through the mouth a lot. So
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
that says it all.
That's
Not the IMD thing. Okay. Oh, fuck. Like you're dreaming, you're like in some submarine, and all of a sudden the water is coming in, and then here, and then there.
Chris, there's only one woman in this world that I look at.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
beautiful.
Yeah, she's just sitting just over there. Like, oh, I'm looking pretty good.
The things that you sent me, I think something's off with your sexuality.
Right, there's a mosquito flying around your head there. Oh no, it's just a fly, love. It's a fly.
I really hate him, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah. So I should be a millionaire.
Exactly.
Welcome everybody.
Hello to our 25 followers. Oh, to our 25 followers. So I've been told I need to speak more into the mic. Because apparently when they come to it's a bit low, isn't it? When they come to edit it, it's very difficult for them to edit it.
Okay.
Apparently we both have quite booming voices.
Yeah, we try our best.
Yeah. But now I feel mine's a bit low. I should probably heighten up a bit. I feel a bit short. There we are. Much better.
Go.
See, now that's come over to mine.
Daniel, now I can see your good posture.
Now, much better. Terrible posture. I've always had bad posture. It's one of those things that I think you're good at or you're not. And I'm always like walking along, and you know when you catch yourself in the mirror, you walk past someone and you think, oh, maybe I look good, and I'm like, oh fuck, look at my posture.
It is kind of like I think something you naturally do or don't.
Yeah.
But I consciously make an effort lately to like sit up straight, because usually when I'm in the office I'm always sat like. And this just doesn't look professional in a way.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Then you like to train yourself to sit right is like training yourself to breathe right, which actually is a thing. You know?
Yeah, you're doing your breathing thing, aren't you?
Yeah, no. I mean, so in general, I don't know if I told you about that. Not the IMD thing. Okay, so there is research that
he's shouting. This is the
actually the reason why people are so sick these days,
yes,
and why the human face gets more and more deformed and less attractive is because people constantly breathe through the mouth.
Oh, I've heard about this, the mouth breathing. You are shouting quite a lot, by the way.
Am I?
Yeah. but no, you're right. I've heard about the mouth breathing thing.
So it's actually like research that people that breathe through the mouth more are less attractive.
Right.
Statistically, and I breathe through the mouth a lot. So
well,
yeah,
I mean
that says it all.
I've heard that. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've definitely heard that.
It is true.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Actually, we had that. Do you sorry, Pfizer's sitting over there. Lovely. Do you remember that guy that stayed with us?
Oh, who was doing the mewing?
Yes.
Yes.
We're not going to mention any names. Do you remember him though?
Well, which guy?
The guy from Belgium.
From where?
Belgium.
No, he was German.
Oh, he was German, wasn't he? But he was living in Belgium. Oh no,
in Switzerland.
Yeah, that guy, and he would he had like the nose thing he had on at night. He had the mouth thing. He taped his mouth up at night, and he was doing all the mewing things. I mean, in fairness though, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, and this mewing thing apparently actually works.
Yeah.
So like when he showed us the before and after pictures, it's crazy what people can do and what we don't know. But there's so many things you can make better and better.
Have you tried to do it?
Like I have used tape for the mouth, so you can't actually breathe for the mouth.
I'd be totally panicked if I woke up and I couldn't
like every
breathe.
single time at some point in the night, I'm like, what the fuck? Like you're dreaming, you're like in some submarine, and all of a sudden the water is coming in, and then you recognize, no, Chris, you just put a damn tape over your mouth, you idiot.
I can't do that. I've tried the mewing thing, but to be honest, it's so boring.
And it's also painful. Like after a while, you just start cramping, and then you're like, do I really need to look like what's this in it? Brad Pitt. That's the guy.
Oh, okay. With the big jaw. Yeah, I mean they've all, you know.
Do you think he's been mooing?
I just get surgery. Have you seen that? No, but people just get a little bit of fat taken out, and then they just get a little bit squirted in.
Every Arabic or like Persian girl over here does that.
Oh, really?
Do you recognize that? Like they all have this chin, which is like really Like
haven't.
there's zero fat here, and then
Chris, there's only one woman in this world that I look at.
oh yeah,
Okay, so
beautiful.
yeah, she's just sitting just over there.
So ask Pfizer to check next time round when you guys go to town if there's any people that look like they have an artificial jawline.
I've never noticed
It's a
that.
massive thing. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, we could get that, or I could get that.
but I don't know if.
Would you
men
ever have surgery?
Nah, mate. I think it's unnecessary. Or like I don't know. Never thought about it.
I have.
What did you want to do?
I would totally. If I lost my hair,
Yeah.
I'd totally get.
Okay, but that is not surgery, you know?
Well, I mean, it's pretty invasive. Isn't it? It's pretty horrible. Have you ever seen the guys coming out with like the bandage?
I see it every single day because in
you've got them in
my
your
office
building.
we have them.
Yeah.
So in the elevator, I can like
Just go up to one, slap them on the head.
observe that like freshly planted grass on everybody's head every single day.
It looks so painful.
Yeah, but at the same time, like that really can change your whole like look. You know?
Did you ever see it on like Instagram where it's got like it's got I don't know Brad Pitt and then it has him with hair, without hair, with the mullet and that, and you're like, hair makes such a difference. It's a massive game changer. And I think as a guy, yeah, that's probably one thing that I would do. The other thing, this is like really vulnerable now, bags under my eyes. I've always got bags under my eyes, and I sleep 8 hours a night. And I hate it. And we, the Ask Pfizer, we spend so much money on these bloody eye creams. None of them work. And the only option that we've got is like...
It's not that bad, honestly. No, for real. Like, if you wouldn't have said it now,
Yeah.
I would have never recognized
Well,
it.
I see it every day,
often enough to recognize. So,
But you can get these in an injection. It's
Yeah.
called like teardrop surgery or something. And
Okay.
they basically... Probably the same stuff they put down here.
Yeah.
They put it like there, and it just fills it out so you don't have the bags. But
Go ahead.
then if you look at that, no, but then you Google like teardrop eye surgery horror stories, and it's like, yeah, maybe I won't get it.
I just think, you know, like, as a guy, like, there's so many things you can do to somewhat look a little bit better that don't involve any surgery. Like, put on some normal clothes, get a good haircut, you know.
Go to the gym.
Go to the gym.
Yeah. I mean that's probably the one biggest thing anybody could do to make themselves not just look better, but feel more confident, genuinely be healthier, is go to the gym.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes it, I mean, at the moment that we haven't been going to the gym so much because we've been traveling quite a lot. But when we do go to the gym on a regular basis, like, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
You feel stronger, your body looks better. You do catch yourself in the mirror or when you walk past a window in a shop and you're like, oh, I'm looking pretty good. And that's great, isn't it?
It is.
So
Yeah.
I think that above all else is probably the easiest thing someone could do.
And actually, so I was watching a lot of YouTube videos by this one guy who's really about like having those routines. And the one thing I took away from that is that
The what?
The-
Routines.
yeah, like to have like
routines.
like a morning routine.
Like a habit.
Or whatever.
Yeah, got it.
Different habits that
Yeah.
you do every single day, and I really agreed with his core message, which is like, if you have all of those small things you do, you prove to yourself that you worth it in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's really a thing where, like, with minor tweaks, and you consistently, it's not complicated things, it's just like stand up when the alarm rings first, drink some water, read a book or whatever, like all of those things. But if you do these things in the morning already,
Yeah.
you actually have already proven to yourself that you can at least rely on those basics, you know?
Well, I mean, there's that age-old saying, the first thing, make your bed.
Yeah.
Like, literally, before you get up to get ready, shake out your bed, fluff your pillows, and make your bed. And it makes such a difference, because then
does, yeah.
even if you go for a shower and come back and your room looks clean and tidy, you're like, okay, I'm ready for the day. And there's actually an amazing book, and I'm sure I've told you about this book, and it's called Black Box Thinking. Have I told you about this book?
Yeah, yes.
And it's all about marginal gain theory, and almost that habit building is that's what it's all
Yeah.
about, right? There's some mosquito flying around your head there. It might not be a mosquito, it might just be a fly. It's a mosquito.
Scared.
No, Pfizer hates mosquito, and they absolutely love it. Oh no, it's just a fly, love. It's a fly. Anyway, so marginal gain theory is exactly that. If you do small incremental things every single day, eventually it'll amount to something really huge.
Yeah.
One of the things that one of the the best sort of visual things that it has on it is the guy spent a season with Mercedes Formula One team, and they were looking at how quickly they can get the pit stop. And I think they, at the time of the book, it still had the record. It was like 2.6 seconds or 2.7 seconds, which is insane to change 4 tires, get it, and it's crazy. What it was, they changed the smallest things. So, for example, the guy that puts the gun in that takes the nut off so you can take the tire, they had him standing to begin with. Then they got him kneeling. Then they got him a foot closer to where the guy comes in. All those tiny marginal things made up to it coming down by like half a second. And that's what it's talking about. If you can do that in your life, if you can make these tiny little changes every single day, it'll amount to all of a sudden a massive change. And the great thing is you don't even know about it.
Yeah.
It will just happen.
But it's also, now these days, the internet is just so full, or probably it's just my algorithm, but the internet is so full of those
OnlyFans girls?
No. No. Disciplined people, it's not like your algorithm. Like the things that you sent me, I think something's off with your sexuality.
Usually the guy, but anyway. But yeah, I think that's it. Do you know what though? I've, and I guess you have as well, and as many people have, and probably millions of people, the millions of people watching this.
All of the millions of people who could potentially watch this.
Thank you very much. If you meet someone who's actually a very successful businessman or business lady or anything else, and it's quite funny that the majority of them do not wake up at 5 a.m. They do not get up at 5 a.m., go for a 30-minute run, read a book, meditate. They don't. They get up as everybody else does, and they're tired some days, and other days they're not tired, and they might go to the gym.
For Instagram.
Exactly.
And turn around, snooze for another half an hour.
I think it's such a. I mean, I get it. Like, it's good to have certain habits and to build certain things, but also you don't want to set it to the point where you put people off. Like, I am not getting up at 5 a.m. It's just not going to happen.
The thing is, though, it's even worse sometimes for me because I do all of those things, and then I'm like, so what the fuck? Am I else to do? Like, I am standing up early at 5 o'clock. I am meditating. I do drink water before I go to the gym. I go to the gym. I have a cold shower and I watch the damn news. So I should be a millionaire.
Exactly.
As per everybody's YouTube video.
Exactly.
However, I'm not. So I'm like, and then it gets really, really frustrating because I'm like, so what else can I do? I'm already 100% self-optimized.
Yeah.
And
I like that. I'm self-optimized.
Yeah,
You're defragged.
It just like you, but then you watch those videos, and I was thinking like, at the same time, like, okay, actually, I should be maybe a little bit more proud that I am actually doing those things, because I completely forgot about the fact that I'm doing it because I'm just doing it.
Yeah.
Like it's just normal for me. But it still can be both. Can be too much, and you think like, okay, like now you kind of optimize every single minute.
Yeah, you don't want to overcorrect.
Or like another thing, for example, today I've seen this video of Grant Cardone who's like,
I really like him, by the way. I think he's really.
I really hate him, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen this video. Okay, that's another video that I've seen. I've seen a podcast with him and Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street,
who I also think is very cool.
Me too.
Okay, yeah.
So I was thinking
Sell me a spin.
That is going to be the coolest podcast ever.
Mm-hmm. Like
the two sales titans in one room talking sales. But it was so hilarious because in this podcast, Grant Cardone constantly tried to like out-angle John Belfort, who was just trying to be a genuine host and give him the platform to say nice and like knowledgeable things, while he is just constantly trying to attack John Belfort. And then he just spirals down this rabbit hole of proving points where you can see he's talking bullshit. Like he's, for example, like John Belfort is asking him, do you tell your sales force to let go at some point when you recognize that the client is not going to close with you? And then he is saying like, no, because if they don't buy, you just got to offer them something else.
Oh, he's like,
yeah, but if you're selling houses, you can't just offer him an insurance if you don't have it. No, you should. And then clearly that's not what you tell. So he's just trying to give him another chance, but he doesn't take it. So he's just like full on going against him all of the time. It gets so awkward. Anyways,
I wasn't thinking about Grant Cardone. I was thinking about the other guy. He was the Australian guy that was on Dragon's Den or whatever the American version is.
what's
that?
The founder of Virgin Airlines?
No, that's Richard Branson. He's English, but
yeah.
thank you very much.
Okay.
Not Australian. There's a great story about him, but I think we told him about. No, this was the guy that one of my favorite like snippets that he did on one of his training things was that, you know, when you've got a business, you can offer one of two of three things. You can either be fast, you can either be cheap, or you can either offer really good service. You can be two of those things, but you can't be all three. So if someone says, right, I want it done quickly, but I want it done cheap, and say, well, you're not going to get really good service. I want really good service and I want it done fast. Well, it's not going to be cheap then. And I really like that. And I've actually started using that when I talk to people now. And I can't remember the guy's name, but he's really cool.
And how do people react?
Well, actually really well. But so he does another one where and I did use this the other day to someone, and he was talking about value. And he says, look, do you want it really cheap or do you want it really good? And says, you can't have really cheap and have really good. And I said this to this person, and they were, no, okay, I want a really good. Okay, well then you know it's not going to be cheap. Okay, yeah, I get it. And it was nice.
And then they hung up because they
and then I never spoke to them again.
Thanks, buddy. Got it. But you think I'm poor.
Actually, the interesting thing on that is, and this is actually something I learned from Danny, and this is the best thing I learned. Well, not the best thing. It's one of the really good things I learned from him is actually to say no to potential clients. And it took us a year to get to the point when we now turn away clients. Not in a rude way, not in a, like, I can turn you away, I'm Billy Big Shot, but just in like, we can't help you. What you're looking
just
for
you're
isn't
poor.
us.
Move on.
Yeah. But we can't help you. So, you know, what you're looking for isn't a service that we provide.
Yeah.
Good luck. And that's it. And then having the balls to not call them back 3 days later and say, oh, I've changed my mind. And it's great. And it's really empowering. And you don't realize until you do that.
Do they come back? Is it like,
absolutely,
treat them mean, keep them keen?
No. So we have had people come back, and do what we've asked them to do, and equally we've had people not come back. But the people that don't come back, we don't want to work with. And that's exactly why you do it, right? You don't want to work with everybody all the time because you can't. And actually, you know, it's just me and Pfizer, right? So we've obviously got a small team. So if we take on all of these people and try and help all of them, well, we're providing a bad service. So we get rid of half of that. In fact, what Danny said to me, he said, every year, cut 20% of the clients that you have. Because 20% of them you don't want to work with anyway. And then you're going to be left with 80% really good clients. And every year do that. And that's what we're trying to be.
And especially in this job, I think you need to really narrow it down to the ones who actually want and that are capable. However, oftentimes you don't recognize it from the beginning who's who, because some people don't want to open up right away. And there are actually, like, for example, in the leads, I often don't get through to people for weeks, and all of a sudden I manage to get a hold of them, and they turn out to be like really legit investors. And but sometimes I'm already like, okay, the phone number doesn't work, so
they're not replying on WhatsApp.
I've sent them emails. They don't open it because I can see in the CRM if they open it. But all of a sudden they open and they're actually legit. So it's kind of like oftentimes you just don't know from the get-go.
Well, I would say our first proper big client that we had was because Pfizer told me to call him. I was done. I'm like, this guy, he's not interested. I've sent him a message like 2 weeks ago. He never replied. And you get that kind of egotistical thing, like, well, I've sent him a few messages. He hasn't come back to me. I'm done. And she said, call him. Just call him. And I did. And he was our first big client. And it was like, oh, okay. And now we're really good friends with him. And it's like, that was all because I've been in sales for years. Someone who hasn't been in sales for years didn't have the ego that I had and was like, just call him. Just make it. So what if he says no? So, yeah. Are we getting the 4 minutes?
No, it's already 3 minutes now.
Oh, 3 minutes.
It's a strange one, I would say, in sales in general, because I was thinking about that today when I was in the car. So oftentimes you would have people that do an inquiry, and then you try to call them, and they're just like, call me back later, and then they will not answer the phone later.
Yeah.
However, if you want to get rid of an annoying salesman, just tell him you're not interested, because when you like, that actually, the sales guy starts feeling like, oh, does this man have a stroke? Do I need to check up on him? Maybe tomorrow twice, and for the next 10 weeks, every single day twice, instead of just being like a normal human being and say like, oh, I thought I can just download this brochure without getting your fucking advice, and I'm not interested. Thanks anyways for the call. Then this person goes like, unqualified. But like this, like you begging for this person to follow up, and at the same time, like if you like what do you expect if you put your phone number somewhere?
Yeah, there's a reason they're gonna call you.
Like they will assume that you're serious about things. It's like, and wouldn't you want your agent to actually give you a call when you already put your phone number down? It's like you sign up to the doctor, and then the doctor is like, well, I'm not going to call you.
And Chris has just matched us up to being doctors now. but do you know what though? I do it. And I'm the worst. I mean, Faisal will tell you, one of the worst ones is I wanted to get a PhD. So obviously it was on Instagram, and it was like, get your PhD in a year. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is awesome. So I put in all my information, I go through, and the guy gives me a call and says, oh, you can do this PhD, blah, 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 blah. And instead of at that point just going, no, I was in a weak moment of drinking too much whiskey and I don't want to get a PhD, I said, I'm not interested right now, but get in touch with me in a month or so. So this poor guy from Singapore was calling me back every few weeks. And then I was like, I don't think I've got the time. And then he was like, we can do you an honorary one. You can just pay $32,000. And at any point, I could have just said, I'm not interested. And he's sitting in Singapore.
You've been playing this poor guy who's like in his pipeline showing his boss every single month.
This guy, I'm going to get this guy.
I've got this guy from Dubai. He's very interested. However, at the moment, he's just considering things, and there's stuff going on in his business, you know?
So yeah, I'm that guy. That's terrible, isn't it? So yeah, you're right. Right, now, we're getting the time that this is our time to wrap this one up. But I've actually really enjoyed talking about it. We should do more about sales and stuff like that. Not about what we do for a job, but...
No, that's just in general.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I think so. You know, I've been in... Again, you've been in sales a long, long time. I've been in sales a very long, long time. And I'm sure we've got some useful tidbits, perhaps.
I guess so.
We've copied from other people that we appropriate.
Us quoting other people on how to do sales.
Exactly that.
Maybe at some point we actually start applying it ourselves.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, thank you very much for watching.
See you next time.
If you have any questions, any suggestions, shoot us a DM. See ya.